Well, we've been having a little bit of issues with the weather, trying to get outside, but finally today we got to have a full practice outside, which was a good thing. The last few days, we do heavy install for 5 practices, and then we try to go back and review and work on fundamentals. So that's something that we just try to do these last couple days, but I think some of the younger players probably get a little bit of football overload, going on about this time. So I think it's really important that we do a good job as coaches to help teach those guys the things that they need to do and understand how they need to react and what they need to do to be able to play winning football here. I think as a team, everybody needs to look at the opportunity that we have as a team. We're all blessed to be here, no doubt, but with that there comes a tremendous burden relative to the standard that we create and that we expect to play to, and that takes a whole lot of perseverance and hard work and ability to overcome adversity and competitive spirit from every individual player. And when they make the right choices and decisions about what they do, I think they're making an investment in themselves, but they're also making an investment in the team. And I think these lessons that they learn make a deposit for their future and their ability to be successful in life. So that's something that we keep working to try to build with our players. In Saturday's scrimmage, obviously I say this every year, but when we have the first scrimmage, especially with the young players, really important to see who can take the knowledge and experience that they've gained in the short bit of time that they've been here and go out there and be able to execute it without a coach standing behind them and telling them what to do or helping them to know what to do, or and making a mistake and being able to react to that mistake and play the next play. So it's going to be a lot about the personnel evaluation in a lot of cases. And we haven't really tried to make a lot of personnel decisions in terms of what team a guy's on. We're really focused on how many guys can we get ready to play winning football. I think there's 2 guys that are injured today. Jamie Mosley is in concussion protocol. Vandarius Cowan has a back injury that flared up on him from high school, so he's making his way back. So anyone have any questions?
Nick, in the return game, we saw Henry Ruggs fielding punts in Saturday's open scrimmage. What has he shown you as being a true freshman, a guy that can get back there and be trusted to field punts?
Well, I guess you don't really truly trust anybody till you see him do it in a game. All right, but he's done a nice job in practice. He's got really good ball judgment. He's very explosive, and he's instinctive as a runner. We have a little more experience back there with a couple guys that did it last year. So I feel a little more comfortable in that part of it. I think kickoff return is an area where we also have to get somebody and that can do it, and we're working Henry at that as well.
What have you seen out of Levi Wallace, and what part of his game has helped him distinguish himself as a player?
Well, I think Levi is one of the guys that we're looking to create a role for. He's certainly in competition at corner because we have guys playing that position. Anthony's coming off of an injury. The other guys never started really, so he's in competition at that position. We've tried to teach him how to play star so that he could have a role in that position, which he did a nice job of. But it's hard to rep at all these places. Levi's a smart guy, and he's a team guy, and he's done a really good job of it. But I think we're going to let him focus at corner for the next couple days. And he's a very smart player that has done a good job when he's had the opportunity to, and he's certainly had a good camp so far.
Going back to special teams, just how are the young guys at kicker and long snapper coming along, and what are you wanting to see out of them and the kicking game as a whole on Saturday?
Well, I think we have work to do there. I really do. I think the timing of what we're doing, not only with the specialists, but also with the other special teams players. So whether it's operation time, whether it's blocking schemes, all these things we're working really, really hard on. I think the snappers are certainly capable of throwing strikes. It's getting the other parts of it right that I think is what, and I think there's good competition at the long snapping position. So we're looking at several people, and same thing with the field goal. So it's probably too early to tell, but I think what happens on Saturday, probably tells us a little more than what happens in practice.
Come back over in the front with Tony.
Coach Robert Foster said that he talked a lot during the media day about the coaches having faith in him this offseason. What have you seen from him, and what role will he have both on and off the field this fall?
Well, everybody's working hard out there to try to create a role for themselves, and certainly Robert has done that. I've liked his attitude. Robert's a really fast guy that's very explosive, and I think there's certain things that he could do really well for us, and I know Brian will use him the best way that he can to feature some of those abilities and talents, and Robert's consistency in performance is going to be the key to the drill, and that's something that he's working hard on, and we're working hard on with him, and he's done a really good job so far.
Just how have you seen Rashad Evans grow as a player and also a leader heading into his senior year?
Rashad has certainly done a really good job for us. I mean, he kind of played defensive end, outside linebacker. That's kind of what we recruited him as. He's a really good pass rusher. We converted him to inside backer, and he's made fantastic progress at that. Really showed a lot of leadership on the field. Has really good knowledge and experience now relative to what he's supposed to do, how he's supposed to do it, making calls. And I think there's a lot of guys that look to his leadership to be important in the development of our defense, and he's certainly done a very good job of that to this point.
Back over to Michael.
How do you evaluate a young kicker in terms of intangibles and dealing with success, failure? Do you watch that closely in a scrimmage situation?
Well, you watch it closely all the time. I mean, it's all a part of it. Can a guy deliver when, it's one thing to go out there and kick field goals on air. It's another thing when there's 11 guys rushing and, a lot of stuff happening around you, and you got to get a good snap and a good hold, and you got to have a good operation time, and you got to get in the comfort zone relative to all those things so that you can execute properly, and that's what we're in the process of working on, and we do have to make evaluations about that between now and the first game.
Hey, Coach. I'm not sure if you saw the comments or not, but Josh Rosen earlier in this week made the comment that being a student athlete, playing football, going to school, it's like having two full-time jobs. I'm just wondering how you've seen the demands on student athletes grow in your time as a coach.
Well, I don't know that it's changed a whole lot. I mean, we used to have two-a-days every day. We don't have any two-a-days anymore. We don't spend any more time in fall camp than what we did when I played as a player. We don't practice any longer through the course of the week. Look, I look at it the other way. We've had 23, 29, and 22 guys play with their degrees in the last 3 years in their last game playing in Alabama. So that means a lot of guys, even though football may be difficult, no one's here saying that it isn't. No one's saying school is not very difficult. Nobody's saying that getting a college education is not very difficult. But for a lot of those guys, being good football players is what created the opportunity for them to make a tremendous investment in their future by graduating from school. And I think that is a really, really good thing. Is it difficult? Probably. Was it difficult for me? Absolutely. All right, so I don't think it's any more difficult. It's just never been easy. But I do think the reward of it all, the lessons that are learned being a part of a team, the lessons that are learned being a competitor in an environment like this or any, college football program, the work ethic, the perseverance, the ability to overcome adversity, the lessons that you learn in life. I mean, how valuable can those things be? I mean, every day you're making a deposit for your future and your chances for being successful in the future. So I think the difficulty and the sacrifice is well worth what it creates for a lot of players. And I'm proud of the fact that we've graduated at at a very high rate relative to everybody else, one of the top schools in the country, and that's our goal, is to create value for our players. So it is an opportunity. With the opportunity comes a burden. The burden is not necessarily easy. So I get that. And you do it for your teammates, and you do it for your future and your opportunity to be successful, because you have a goal and an aspiration for what you want to try to accomplish and what you want to do in your life. I think it can make you a better parent. I think it can make you a better employee someday. I think it can make you a better lot of things.
This is kind of a two-part question, but we've seen, several former players around the program recently. You've been known to bring guys like Denzel and Josh Chapman back and get them involved. What's your philosophy there? Could you just kind of speak about a couple of the guys that you have come back recently?
Well, first of all, those guys did a great job of representing the University of Alabama and the football program here. And, those guys have the right stuff in terms of what we're looking for to help the next guy develop, the kind of characteristics that are going to help them be successful. And I'm very loyal to our players. We probably have, I don't know, half a dozen guys around here now that have played for us in the past, but they understand the culture. They understand how we do things, and they buy into it, and they believe in it. And I'm happy to have them back to, if they want to be coaches or get in a strength and conditioning program or get in some kind of athletic administration. We certainly want to help them have the opportunity to do that. And, I think that because we have other guys at other places now that are head coaches, maybe some of our guys can someday grow into opportunities there as well.
Yesterday, Ed Orgeron said, when asked about staff sizes, it's always good to have one assistant per on-field assistant. I guess, do you have a philosophy as far as that goes with, all the criticism that staff size have been getting?
Well, my philosophy is we should be able to have whatever staff size we want to have. I mean, whatever we're willing to invest, because we're investing in the players. I mean, everybody thinks we're creating a competitive advantage, but really what we're investing in is the players, whether it's academic support for folks, whether it's administrators, whether it's player development coaches. All these things to me, help us have the kind of program where, players can have a better chance to be successful in life. So I think we should be able to have whatever we want. And if somebody else doesn't like it, they ought to hire more people too.
Coach, both you and Coach Pruitt have coaching ties to Jimbo Fisher. How do you think that will play a role in this upcoming game and from both sides of it?
Well, I think the game's going to be about the players. They have a lot of good players. They have a really good team coming back. They've got a lot of experienced players coming back. Jimbo does a great job of coaching. I think, there's a lot of philosophical togetherness that we grew up with, that he believes in, that I believe in, and I think both teams will reflect that kind of, toughness and competitive spirit. But I don't think the game's going to be about the coaches. I think it's going to be about the players. And I think, he'll do a great job of trying to get his team ready to play the game, and we'll do the best job we can to get our team ready to play the game. And the players will go out there on the field, and whoever can execute the best will have the best opportunity to be successful. So I think the game's about the players, not about the coaches.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.